I've been talking with a guy the last day or so about the H&R M16A1s. He's looking to get one for his, I think he said his dad, who served in Vietnam in 1969. So I've been talking to him about that, and I've been wanting to do a video because I did some things to this one. I made this more, quote unquote, clone correct, at least in my mind. And I've been wanted to do a video on it. I just haven't, I guess, been in the mood. It's been sitting in the safe, and I'm not quite done with it yet. There's a couple other things I want to do with it. But I figured since I was talking with him about it, this would be not a bad time to talk about some of the things that I've done and some of the things that you can do, and just the retro stuff from H&R. So first thing that I did to this after I got it was I put the H&R contract M16A1 furniture on this. This is USGI furniture, correct for H&R. I got this from US Collector Ordnance, and I suggest if you go and order one of these from PSA, you immediately order a original GI stock set from US Collector's Ordnance or whoever. But the original stuff is so much better than the reproduction stuff. The reproduction stuff's not terrible, but I don't like the feel. It doesn't feel anything like the original stuff did. So I did that, and then some of the other things that bug me, you'll see there's a kind of a little bit of a lower parts kit sitting over here. So one of the things that really pisses me off about Palmetto State Armory and the whole H&R line is I don't want to say they're doing this half-assed, and I've gotten quite a bit of comments on my H&R M16A2 video, people saying I'm too picky. Well, I'm not really too picky. It's just, if you're going to do cloning things, you need to make sure the things you're cloning, you're doing it correctly. And PSA, they kind of are, and they're kind of doing a half-assed job. So when I got this gun, all the lower parts in here were jet black, and they stuck out like a sore thumb. This was the only thing in the lower parts kit that they anodized gray, like the receivers. Why would you anodize this gray and then use jet black trigger, jet black safety, and jet black hammer pins and trigger pins? And also the takedown pins were jet black as well. And you can see here the dust cover. This is the original dust cover and Ford Assist. These are not the same color gray as the receivers, but this is still correct. This is more of a correct gray than this color this stuff is here. This is an original M16 lower, and you can see it pretty much matches that gray perfectly. So I'm not quite sure why they are doing the gray on their M16 so light. It's not like super off or anything, but it's definitely off. In certain color, certain lighting, it's more noticeable. I'll roll in some pictures outside. Sometimes this lower actually looks almost blue in certain lighting. So what I originally did, I just left it go with all the black parts in it, but eventually it annoyed me. So what I did was I originally got some of this Brownells Alumahide dark gray, and I just spray painted everything, and it turned out good at first. And this came parkerized gray. So again, one more thing that they're parkerizing gray. So those two parts, and then the charging handle, and then everything else was black, jet black. It just doesn't make any sense. So what I did was I took these parts out and I spray painted them with that dark park. And at first it looked good. I thought it looked pretty good, and I was super happy with it. But then trying to put the parts in with the added spray paint on it, it just didn't, as you can see, it just didn't take very well. So that didn't work out as well as I was hoping it would. The bolt catch here was sticking. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. So I started looking for a M16A1 lower parts kit, and I came across the company, I think it's Milco. I'll put in some screenshots. I cannot leave links, but I believe it's Milco, and they have, just get on Google and type that in, and they have a lot of cool stuff on there. And that's actually where I found this lower parts kit here. It came with basically it was a complete lower parts kit. It came with a trigger and the magazine catch. All this stuff is from them. This fire selector here is actually original. This is a full auto selector. And yes, that is legal. There's no drilled, pin drilled or anything. So it is legal to have the full auto safety. Just like it's legal to have a full auto bolt carrier. Anyways, I went ahead and ordered that. It was kind of on the expensive side. Now they have a option that you can get correct H&R marked bolt catch, and they wanted like an extra like $80 or something for that, and I was like, I'm okay. So I didn't do that, but you can kind of see here, you can see the different shades, and this lower kind of looks a little blue. Just depends. But anyway, so I ordered the lower parts kit from them, and I got that in, and I installed that, and I installed the new trigger. I'll roll in some pictures of what it looked like with the jet black lower parts kit in, and in my opinion, it just looked like trash. So I got that installed. Also, the PSA mil-spec triggers are just absolutely trash. And you can go watch my M16A2 video, and you'll see the trigger doesn't work. They eventually break in. I don't know what kind of polishing they need to get their polishing better on the triggers. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems like every other PSA lower parts kit I get a trigger like that doesn't want to reset for like the first 75-ish rounds, and then it's good to go. The trigger that's in here now is just the trigger that, I forget the manufacturer of it, but it's the same trigger that Colt uses. They just make standard mil-spec triggers. So I did that, and this came with a 30-round mag. One of the things I did was I changed out, and I got a 20-round mag. I have a lot of these actually, but this is an actual H&R 20-round mag, which I thought was cool. This was kind of, I think this was more expensive than the Colt mags. At least when I bought all my Colt 20-round mags, they were somewhat cheap, and this thing was like $20 or $30. It was kind of expensive. So you can go on there and you can get this gray anodized lower parts kit if you feel like changing out the lower parts kit, which I recommend. Then the other thing that I did was I put this DOD stamp on here. Now, you may or may not want to do that. If you do that, the reason I brought it up is because I had said in my original video, you can no longer get these. The person that made these are out of business. However, I don't know if it's the same guy that's making them or what. I'm going to put a screenshot in on eBay. There's been a guy selling these DOD stamps. He's been selling them all year, or at least the last 4 or 5 months. So I think he's going to continue making them. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. I don't know who it is. But you'll see in the screenshot, you'll see the name. Just type in DOD stamp on the Google search, and it'll come right up. So that's cool. I wanted to make sure that I put that in because there was a bunch of guys asking me where to get that, and when I made the video at the time, you couldn't get them because they just didn't make them anymore. That guy went out of business with COVID. And then one of the other things that I did on this was I got they call this the seatbelt sling. It's like a seatbelt nylon material. Now this would be correct for like a 1969. The first year that these seatbelt slings were in service was in 1969, which is also the first year that the H&R M16A1s came online, started showing up in country. If you were doing a clone before that, 1968, 67, this would be the sling you wanted, just the M1 Grand cotton sling. Now, what I wanted to talk about here was when I had made that original video, also you couldn't really find these slings no more. I had this sling. This was one of the slings I've got 6 years ago or something. And I think it was like 20 bucks. And at the time, there wasn't a whole lot on eBay, and what was there, they were like 50 bucks. Well, I just went online and looked just today, and these seatbelt slings are back on eBay for like 30, 40 bucks. So they might even been 20, I can't remember. So as of right now, somebody either just found a whole bunch of them, or they're just becoming available again, these seatbelt slings. So you can check those out on eBay, and you can almost always find these M1 Garand cotton slings. Don't buy a reproduction sling. Just spend the $30, $40 and get an original. You might even be cheaper than that, maybe like 20 bucks. Get an original sling. These things feel so much better. They're not as cheap. I felt those, $14 eBay special M1 Garand slings, and they're just utter trash. You don't want to do that. Just spend the extra couple bucks. If you don't have an eBay account, just make an eBay account. It's super easy. It doesn't cost anything. And order yourself an original GI sling. You're not going to regret it. But I do think for $1,200 to $1,400, they can make this all the same color anodizing and not put the black lower parts kit in here. So, but it's just, I just wanted to do a video and just make you guys aware that there are some things, some upgrading that needs to be done to these, and how to do it, where to do it. Also, this buffer tube should be gray, not black as well. So if that bugs you, it kind of bugs me. If I ever come across the gray buffer tube, I might snag it, but I don't actively look. I probably could find one, but, and then, I'm also thinking about spray painting this slip ring here, because the slip ring should be gray as well. So I might take the handguards off, tape it, and spray paint the slip ring here. It's not a delta ring, it's a slip ring. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, so we'll see. I think this looks clone enough. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either. So, but hopefully, if you are interested in getting a H&R M16A1 and you're looking at maybe some things to change on it, or you're just curious about them, hopefully this helped you out. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day.